Welcome. This is the 5th video regarding the mathematics of elections, and in this video we're going to talk about our last voting method, which is the method of pairwise comparisons. So we're going to use our same example where people filled out a ranked preference ballot, and we're going to just see one more method of counting up the votes and determining a winner. And so the method here is called pairwise comparisons because what we do is we award points for a win in a head-to-head competition. So we imagine that there's only 2 people in the election, but we look at all the different pairs. So the first question might be, how many pairwise comparisons can we make when we have these 4 candidates? And maybe this will also illustrate what we mean by a pairwise comparison. So we're talking about, right now it's A versus B versus C versus D. Everybody's in the mix together. But with just pairs, we're talking about A versus B, or we're talking about A versus C, or A versus D. Those are all the pairs that A can be a part of, because you don't pair with yourself. We don't need to look at B versus A, because that's the same as A versus B. But B can be compared with C, and B can also be compared with D. There's still C versus D, and that's going to be all of them. You can ask yourself, if I'm missing a pair, who would it involve? Does it involve D? Well, D should be a part of 3 different head-to-head competitions, and you see that D is. What about C? C should be involved in 3 different competitions, and you can check for yourself that that candidate is. So we conclude there are 6 head-to-head competitions. So for each one of these 6, there's gonna be a victor, and we're gonna assign 1 point to that victor. Or if there's not, we'll give half a point for a tie. So let's look at the A versus B challenge first. The A versus B. And let's count how many points A is going to get and how many B will get. And what we're going to do is just pretend that the candidates C and D are out. So you can just cross them out for right now. And now, when you look at these ballots, you can see from the first column, 14 people chose A. In the second column, those 10 people, if they weren't allowed to choose C or D, because they just weren't on the ballots, they would have chosen B in front of A. So B gets 10. Oops. The next 8 people also would have chosen B above A. Now those 8 people didn't really like B or A. They liked D and C above. But the way that we're running this pairwise comparisons method is assuming that if D and C were not a part of the election, then those 8 people would have chosen B. So B gets an additional 8 votes. Likewise, B gets the next 4 and the last, because B is above A in all 4 of these columns. B won these. So A got 14 total votes, and B got 18 plus 4 is 22, 23 total votes. So B is awarded 1 point. So we did what we needed to do for 1 of the 6 pairs. And we're going to scroll down, so we're going to need that chart again. So let's just clear that business out. Let's put it over here. And then we need to start a tally here, because we need to count the points that each individual candidate is winning when they win these head-to-head competitions. So let's have another table over here, and we'll call it like the pairwise points. And A, B, C, and D. And right now, B has 1 point. So let's keep this off to the side. These are going to be the points that we use to determine who actually wins the election. Whoever gets the most of these pairwise points will win. So we need to go and look at all the other pairs. So there's also A versus C. And so we go into our preference schedule, and if it's just A versus C, then B and D are not in the competition. The first 14 people go to A. The next 10 all go to C. The next 8 go to C. Oops. The next 4 go to C. And the last one also goes to C. We're just looking within any individual column, and we're saying, look, C wasn't their favorite. Those 8 people chose D as their favorite. But if D was not on the ballot, then they would have chosen C above A. You can at least see that. And so in this matchup where it's only A and C, C gets those 8 votes. And we can see these numbers are actually the same as before. And what's happening here is we should note that A was only ever in first place or last place. So in these pairwise comparisons, A is always going to lose, because A only will ever get 14 points. But right now, let's make sure that we award C their point for beating A. But A versus D will go the same. For D, A gets 14, D gets 23. So D has got a point. So we've awarded 3 of the 6 kind of pair points. We still have 3 more points to award. So let's do those. We have B versus C was the next one. B will get, C will get, we'll go back to our preferred schedule. So A is out, right? We're done looking at A. And for the moment, we're also done looking at D. So in every column, you cross out D, and you say, okay, well, B will get those 14 people from the first column. C will get the 10 people from the second, and the 8 people from the third column. B will get the 4 people in the third column. And C gets that last one. And that one really matters, right? Because look, it's 18 to 19. C wins. C wins the point. So that gives us 1 more for C. Let's scoot down, make ourselves some space. We have done 4 of the 6. Let's check out B versus D. Let's clear up our little table here so we can keep marking off. B gets. So if we're just comparing B and D, that means A and C are out. A and C are out. B will get the 14 and 10 more from the second column. D gets 8 from the third column. B's going to win this, right? B already has more than 19 votes. So it doesn't matter that D gets this last vote. But we see that B has 28 and D has 9. Is that right? Yep. Okay, so there's just one more matchup. It's between C and D. And if C wins, well, they will win the whole game. But if D wins, we're going to have a tie situation. So let's check out what happens. C, D versus C. And let's clear this out one more time. D and C are competing, which means A and B are out. C gets the 14 votes from the first column, and also the 10 from the second column, so we see that C is going to win. But let's get the final tally. 25, and that's 12. So C gets the final. And we also can view our full ranking from here. So C wins the big one. C wins overall. First place. B wins second. D wins third. And A wins fourth. We're producing this ranking from the number of pairwise points. C has the most, B has the second, D is the third, and A doesn't have any. So that's how the pairwise comparison method goes out. There's a lot of head-to-head competitions, and whoever wins the most head-to-head competitions wins. We make a note here that C never lost. C never. And that makes C pretty special, because regardless of who you put C up against, you expect that that candidate will win. That is oftentimes considered a good reason for that candidate to deserve to win. Okay, see you in the next video.